Wonder Egg Priority came bursting into the scene in 2021, and it kinda took the community by storm for a little bit. At the time, there was really nothing else that season that had taken this cryptic storytelling approach. But it wasn't just that. The visuals, action sequences, and characters all made the show stand out. And then it just died. But I'm getting ahead of myself here.
言うて、エッグ割らなければなんちゅうことないわけでしょ。私は教われないんだし。あ
The story follows a group of girls who enter dream worlds where they must protect the people who hatch from these eggs. They all share one thing in common, in that the eggs have all committed suicide due to some past trauma that also get manifested in said world. Once they save enough people, the girls will eventually be able to bring someone close to them back to life. At least, that's what they're told. This show does a great job with its presentation. It's done by Cloverworks, so the art and animation are just super fluid and clean. They even make cracking an egg look satisfying.
Oh!
And then we enter Ai's dream world, this girl's Ai by the way, where everything looks normal until, oh god! And just when we thought we've seen enough, this happens.
れ、何？
Some time passes and we get a bit of insight into Ai's past. These little moments of intimacy are some of my favorite parts of the show. You can feel how nervous she is just by her expression, and the lighting perfectly highlights the features you're made to pay attention to. Everything, all the way to the gentleness of the characters' voices, make you feel some sort of way. It's kind of like ASMR.
私と友達になって。親友になろうよ。ダメ？ダメじゃないけど。けど。なれたら嬉しい。私も。
Once we do get back to the action, we end up cheering for Ai because we want her to get better. Did you see that shit? Her pen turned into I don't even know what, but it was freaking amazing. And it stays that way for the next few episodes. The other girls, Neiru, Rika, and Momoe, they all get their time in the spotlight. They're all likable in their own way too. Except for Rika. This is gonna sound weird, but hear me out, alright? You know who she reminds me of? DW from Arthur. Don't ask me why, just keep that in mind. Rika is the definition of, don't worry, I swear this character gets better. And she does. But until then, she just gets on your nerves sometimes. She's very superficial and manages to ruin the mood when everyone's just minding their own business. Like DW. Each of these girls all have their own problems they must face. Loneliness, identity, parents, whatever Neiru's going through, Wonder Egg Priority tackles these subjects in a tasteful manner. It's not hard to understand what each of them are going through, making it easy for us to empathize and feel genuinely happy when they do manage to get over that initial hurdle. That's what keeps them together.
笑うなっての。だって、ごめん。
As if the enemies weren't creepy enough, someone thought it'd be a good idea to make the big boss monsters look like actual monsters. Which is fine, until you get stuff like this.
Oh, it's disgusting! What is that? Is that Branson? Is that tap dancing crab demon?
Aside from that, the show is great. Until you get to episode 9. The entire episode is just one big info dump. I hate it. It's the same reason why I don't really vibe with most mecha shows, because half of it is just politics. I don't care about that. I want to see Kira activate a seed, pause, and beat the shit out of someone. Wonder Egg wanted to make its plot more convoluted than it needed to be. They wanted to explore parallel worlds, which, quite frankly, is pretty cliche in itself, and introduce this entirely new foe in attempts to make sense out of this whole suicide phenomenon. And I'll admit, it does get super fucked up afterwards, but none of it gets properly fleshed out, and you'll end up being even more confused considering the show doesn't even end. I mean, it does, but it wasn't good. And then you watch the special, which, by the way, half of it is just a glorified recap, and you're still left with more questions than answers. Like, am I just dumb that I just do not understand? Was any of this obvious the first time around? No. Sometimes I wonder if a show can be too cryptic. Don't get me wrong, a ton of shows and games can pull it off very well. I just think this show was trying to be way too ambitious. In all fairness, the latter half of the show had some really good ideas but fell short due to a lack of time. This would have been one of the better shows to come out this season, had everything that was planned from the beginning was properly resolved. But go watch it for yourself, make your own judgment, and tell me in the comments. Bye!